disappear. We have problems with books on certain topics disappearing from the collection. And it has as much to do, you might think it would have something to do with some political issue or something of that sort, but in our environment, it has to do, books about cochlear implants disappear.
Oh.
Books, and we collect comprehensively. So
Right.
even if it's a book that is really not something we agree with as staff, we still purchase it because it's a important historically to maintaining deaf history.
Right.
So, but those books disappear from our collection. So it is interesting. So we have to keep buying those.
Okay. You've mentioned several times consortiums.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the consortiums that you belong to?
Okay. We are members of the Washington Research Library Consortium, and that's the only one. It includes most of the academic libraries in the Washington, D.C. area. American University, Gallaudet, University of District of Columbia, Catholic University, Georgetown University, George Washington University, George Mason University, and Marymount. It does not include Howard University, which is one of the biggest, and the University of Maryland, which is that's also one of the biggest. That's because that's their choice, not the consortiums. We would love to have them as members. And actually, just a little aside, Howard's longtime university librarian has just retired actually, and we're kind of hoping Howard will join, because the advantage to being in a consortium for us is we're so small. We can provide so much to our students through those collections. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that does not mean that we don't have a responsibility to purchase materials to support our curriculum. But we can't, for example, if we have students taking an international business course, there's no way we could provide the wealth of materials that George Washington University does that offers an MBA in international business.
Right.
So our students have access to those collections. They have access to, it gives us some buying power that we wouldn't have otherwise. We purchase a number of our databases consortially, so we get that discount. We are members of Lyrasis, which is a very large network through the Washington Research Library Consortium. We are members of Lyrasis. Okay. WRLC is a member of Lyrasis, which makes us a member of Lyrasis. It's kind of complicated. But that gives us some buying power with databases that we wouldn't have as one little tiny place. So we're able to purchase some things through that at really good prices. So that's the benefit for us. And in our environment, in terms of collections, students can go into our catalog, find a book they want at GW or Georgetown or George Mason, and say, I want that. Click a button. It'll be there the next day or the day after that.
Wow.
Yeah, all they have to do is click a button. If they find an article they want that we don't have in our collections, click a button. It will be on their computer in usually 24 to 36 hours. It's delivered directly to their email.
Nice.
As a PDF. So that kind of thing, we just couldn't function without it, because it gives our students access to so much more. And especially those students who are more advanced, doing more advanced work. It's great for them.
Right. What are other trends you see in academic collection development?
Well, it's interesting. One of the libraries in the consortium has just shipped, they've canceled almost all of their print periodicals. They have only a handful left, and they've sent all of them except art, 100% of their print periodicals, to storage. The storage facility is local. It's right outside Washington, D.C., and it's part of the consortium. It's part of the consortium membership, and so that's part of the delivery. So if somebody wants something, it can be delivered in a day. If they want an article, again, it's delivered in 12 to 24 hours to their computer. So instead of having to go to the library to photocopy something, they can get it sent to their computer in 12 hours, which in most cases makes people happy. But that trend in collection development of canceling print, particularly periodicals, in favor of electronic, that's old news at this point. Nobody's purchasing print periodicals anymore, unless you purchase print because you get a better price on the electronic. You know, you get both for some cheaper price.
Okay.
And that's fading away. But I would say the other trend is everybody is having to cut budgets right now. Everybody's looking at that. And I think I'm talking with people at this conference, you know, at Annual Conference 2009, I've asked, okay, if you're cutting your budget, how are you doing it? What decisions are you making? And it's been interesting. Most people have said, not surprisingly, we're doing everything we can not to cut the budget. But we're looking at periodicals, so we're cutting some periodicals because that's what's most expensive. And we're reviewing curriculum with book budgets to see, are we still collecting in areas where it's no longer as important? But I think that trend of having to make cuts is coming, and I think there has been for years a desire to find ways for it, within consortia particularly, to do cooperative collection development. Nobody's been able to figure out how to do it because nobody's willing to say, okay, we won't collect in this area if you will, because we know our faculty don't want to hear, we don't have it, you got to wait until tomorrow to get it. But I believe probably the current economic situation may force us to do that, and frankly I think it's a good thing, because we're all finding, this has been the case for years, that academic libraries, particularly big research libraries, have these humongous collections of materials, many of which just aren't used. And geographically, especially in the Washington area, where we're all within a few miles of each other, why should each of us have the same materials? Obviously, we need the same basic undergraduate materials, but we don't all need the same high-level materials for our researchers. And if we can have them one place and share them, and if that's going to satisfy our users, we need to find ways to do that.
Okay. We always end with the question of, is print a dying medium?
I kind of think it is. I'm different in that area. I don't think it's going to die soon. I don't think it's going to die in my lifetime, which I hope will be another, I don't know, 30 or 40 years. But who knows?
Especially since you're only 29.
Yeah, exactly, since I'm only 29. But what I do think that more and more print is going away. And I know lots of people from age 90 to age 12 who enjoy a physical book. But I know lots of people who, in my generation, I still want to read the physical newspaper. But when you look at the physical newspapers, it is obvious that I am in the minority. People they would much rather, and I just, one of my roommates here at ALA, said that she doesn't subscribe to a newspaper anymore because she would just rather read the news as it's coming across her desk. And she looks at newspaper websites. You know, she's not getting her news from CNN.com. She's looking at Chicago newspaper, Washington Post, New York Times, LA Times, but she's looking at that online. And I think more and more that's going to be happening with all kinds of media. And I do think at some point print books will go away in favor of some kind of electronic device. I don't know that Kindle's the answer, but I think Kindle's the best thing anybody's seen so far. And I think it's going to continue to get better, and at some point they'll be gone. Buy a book. Yeah, I mean, it's sad, but I really think that medium is going to be gone. And I think it has to do with a lot of factors. I think one is simply paper. I think we're going to have to be conserving more and more, and we're not going to have the luxury of printing all that paper. So there.
Okay, well, Sarah, thank you very much. I know the students really appreciate this.